Welcome to It's a Crime. I'm Linda, and today we're going to be talking about Chad Daybell, his pet cemetery banter, and his bizarre need to boast. But before we get into it, if you'd like to be part of the It's a Crime community, be sure to click that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell to all. Also, share this video out where you can, and give it a like. Now, let's get into it. On September 9th, 2019, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan was buried in Chad Daybell's yard. Chad picks up the phone and feels the need to text Tammy, his then-wife, this little info snack. At 11:53 a.m. on September 9th, the text reads, "Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times." Since Chad's the aspiring writer, and I use that term loosely, he threw in limb debris by the fire pit in his text to Tammy. Tylee Ryan was found dismembered by the fire pit. The raccoon in this situation is in reference to Tylee, in my opinion. Notable, no mention in the hearing that took place of an actual raccoon or remnants of a raccoon anywhere buried in his pet cemetery by the fire pit. Now, Alex Cox, as we know, was at Chad's property that day at 9:21 a.m. until 11:39 a.m. Then he headed to Del Taco for some lunch. And 14 minutes after Alex left, Chad texted Tammy that raccoon story. In the affidavit, it read, "The above facts establish that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th, 2019 until at least 11:39. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th, 2019. Now, in my opinion, Chad actually seems to get a little pleasure out of what's going on. And he brings up the raccoon to justify his actions or justify the fact that the ground would be disturbed. And perhaps in another video, I will show you the pleasure that he actually seems to get while he's in the courtroom. But stay tuned for that. Now, in the hearing that took place months ago, there wasn't any information or mention about text to Tammy about when JJ was buried. So naturally the question is, why not? Especially if he likes to boast. But JJ was found toward the back of the property, and perhaps it's not a spot where Tammy would typically go or see. And maybe there were lessons learned the first time. As you know, or most of you know, that JJ was found in a different manner and he wasn't dismembered. But now here's the little info snack bombshell that I heard last week with Julie Rowe on Nancy Grace. Now, I know many of you have commented as to why would you believe Julie Rowe or listen to Julie Rowe. But there's something that she said that made me really listen. And it could be potentially very, very important and potentially need to be looked at. Julie said she had a conversation with Chad at the beginning of October in 2019, and she hadn't talked to him since March of 2019. She says she saw visions of Chad burying bones in the pet cemetery and having a bonfire. She told him that over the phone conversation, and he gave a story about burying chickens and ducks and a goat that got caught in his fence. Have a listen.
He does know some of my gifts, but not all of them. On October 1st, 3 weeks before Tammy died, Chad Daybell called me the first time since March of 2019. I questioned him on some of the visuals that I had related to basically seeing him bury bones in their pet cemetery and having a bonfire, and he gave me a storyline of burying chickens and ducks and a goat that got caught in his fence.
Well, I didn't hear the last thing. Bury chickens and ducks and what?
A goat that got caught in his fence.
So he gave you that explanation. He didn't deny you've been burying bones.
Yes.
He gave you that explanation.
Yes. I said to him, among other things, so did you guys, have some chickens or ducks die or something? He laughed nervously with this awkward laugh he gets, and he goes, yeah. And I said, did you bury them, in your pet cemetery? And he said, yeah. And then he offered up, oh, and we had a neighbor's goat get caught in the fence. I had to shoot and kill it and bury that too.
So he volunteers the information, oh, and we had a neighbor's goat get caught in the fence. I had to shoot and kill it and bury that too. There is a lot of information in the statement, in my opinion. If Chad did in fact say this sentence exactly, that I had to shoot and kill it and bury that too, it suggests to me that he shot and killed not only the goat, but also the chicken and the ducks. Interesting that he doesn't mention a raccoon here, but then again, Julie asked him first if it was chickens and ducks. And if Chad actually killed a raccoon, like his text said, then why not say to Julie, well, it wasn't chickens or ducks, it was actually a raccoon, right? Uh-oh, John Pryor. So here's where it goes from bad to worse, potentially. Chad says, we had a neighbor's goat get caught in the fence. Well, as I said, this conversation between Julie and Chad was stated it took place on October 1st, 2019. What I want to know is, where's the goat and its remains? And I don't remember any reports of finding goat bones in the cemetery, or a raccoon, of course. Only that dog and cat remains were found. This is what it said in the affidavit. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. So here's the bombshell. It said that Chad Daybell used to have a neighbor that would walk along his fence every day, along Chad's property. And you know why I said used to? Because this neighbor's dead. He died 2 days before this October 1st conversation with Julie Rowe. He died on September 29th, 2019, 1 week after JJ was buried. Guess what he died from? Can you take a guess? Yep, you guessed it. Chad's neighbor just so happened to die from a pulmonary embolism. Now, this neighbor lived a short distance from Chad. It's actually a 12-minute walk and only a 1-minute drive. And he died at the age of 63. So Chad, in the conversation with Julie Rowe, refers to the neighbor's goat and that he had to shoot a goat. It leads me to ask, did he think the neighbor was an old goat? It sounds weird. Now, maybe this is sheer coincidence, but what I don't like is the mention of a neighbor, an animal, and having to shoot and bury it. And at first I was thinking, well, maybe he's saying the goat is JJ, but he told Julie that they were chicken and ducks, two different types of animals that were already buried. Oh, and by the way, a neighbor's goat. So this is really, really strange to me. And what I'd love to know is, did Chad spend some time with this neighbor right before he died? And did the neighbor actually see something on the 23rd when JJ was buried? I know this sounds really, really crazy, but at this point, I wouldn't dismiss anything at this point in this case. It just gets deeper and deeper. The more I look, the more there is to uncover. And Chad and Lori are no stranger, as we know, to any types of code. Now, in another case I covered, the Cassandra Cantrell case, we saw the accused killer, whose name is Colin Dudley. He told the detectives that he was doing spring cleaning the morning that Cassandra died. And he denied even knowing her, even though he was sleeping with her. Colin was also married. And Cassandra was actually pregnant at the time of her death. But Colin texted his wife that morning saying, don't freak out if the ADT cams are down. He shuts his phone off as well and throws Cassandra's phone into the ocean. He goes back to his house and turns on his phone. After that, he texts his wife and told her that the cameras are back on and not to worry. He also texts his boss about doing some work in the basement and wanted to know about some sealant. When the detectives checked Colin's basement, they found evidence of blood, Cassandra's blood, and in various areas of the basement. So there are some cases where the texts are very curious, and a lot of times they're using other words for what may have happened, or they do little tells on themselves. And Chad, I believe, in my own opinion, after spending, I don't know how many thousands of hours or hundreds of hours that I've worked. I just know I've done over 100 videos. And the more I look into this, the more I feel like Chad gets these little pleasures out of these details. And I'm going to do another video. There's always another video that can happen with this case, but I've seen some things also in the courtroom that make me question Chad Daybell and him getting a little kick out of these little things that are major, and it does not sit well with me. Let's have a chit chat below about this. What are your thoughts? I know it seems crazy, but then at the same time, it's really, really odd, and the timing is very peculiar. The deeper we go, the deeper it gets. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please like and please share. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.